Hello, everyone. Yeah. Okay, this one is gonna be something that's been on my mind for a while. That, I've seen other people out there doing their own thing and talking about things, but I don't think I've seen anyone talk about this specific thing that I'm talking about and how my experience has been with it and how well it really works. So, hence the title of the video, obviously. So, what's the key to real alchemy? And before anybody says that that's clickbait, let me explain, okay? Alchemy is not turning things into gold like the old history books tell us, right? That's not to say that there hasn't been a person out there that has figured out it like an alchemical process to do something like that, but and if that has ever happened, that's that's a secret that has been kept very well hidden, very well guarded by whoever knows how to do that. And I don't doubt that there are people out there who are capable of doing things like that, but you're talking about extraordinary people, and people like that are not making YouTube videos. I can assure you that. So, with that out of the way, let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the matter here. Okay? Real alchemy is when you begin to alchemize yourself on a deep level. Real alchemy is when you begin to it's like it's like when you reintegrate yourself with all the parts of yourself that you now understand their purpose and what they were there to do for you, to uplift you, to make you grow, to make you learn. Recently, even today, I've seen quite a few people out there, talking about ego death is not possible and this and that, and I'm sorry, but that's not true. But here's the thing: real ego death is extremely hard, and there are very few people who have ever achieved something like that, because there's an entire process that involves this. Real ego death is not shadow work. Shadow work is like kindergarten compared to real ego death. Real ego death involves a lot of things, including deep sexual work that involves a type of energy and a type of work that it has nothing to do, with the form of sex that we would understand as sex. And that's all I'm going to say about it. If you want to know more, feel free to research the subject. I'm not here to talk about things that others have talked about, have wrote entire books about it, and it's known for those who are in the know. It's that simple. I don't like to regurgitate people that, I like to do my own thing. Okay? So that's all. It's nothing personal. Some of the people that wrote things like this, extremely, extremely gifted spiritual people who were like on the upper echelons of the ascended masters that walk this earth. That's all I'm going to say. All right? So, yes, real ego death is totally possible. So, for those that are out there saying that this is not possible, that's a lie. And not only is it a lie, but you are misinformed. You obviously haven't read enough when it comes down to that to know and understand that it is possible, but it's a Herculean work in and of itself. And I think with the way the world is today, it would be fair to say that it's impossible in a way, but that is not true. And that's why I'm saying that, that's not the case. So if you want to know more about that stuff, go do some research. You will understand, if that's what you wish. So when it comes down to alchemy, what I found for myself personally, and what I feel like is what works best, and this is why I am going to call them keys to the whole process. And that's something that I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. Maybe they spoke about one specific part, which is the number one key that I'm going to mention here, which is self-love. Real, pure, unconditional self-love. That's the number one key. But that's not the only one. There is another one that I'm going to call it the second key. So I'm going to leave it at 2 keys. Maybe there are others, but my personal experience on my journey is those are the 2 things that I found that work best, the most, with the utmost results for me. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the first key is universal for everyone and anyone. So never forget that one, okay? Self-love. And when I'm talking about this, you may think you love yourself. There might be a lot of people out there who think they love themselves. So I'm gonna use an example here for you to be able to figure this out really fast, really easy, really quick. You know, when you love someone, when you really truly love someone, you do anything for that person, right? You would lay your life on the line for them, like literally, if it came down to it. You would give your life so they could keep on living their own life. That's what real love is. All right. Now, take from that and put yourself into that perspective for a minute, and look at the things that you allow for it to happen in your own life, in your own journey. Look at all the things you went through. Look at all the things you're still going through. This could be anything. All right? It could be a relationship that just is not working out for you. And yet you're in absolute state of denial, trying to do everything in your power to fix it when there is no way to fix it, because it's just never going to be fixable. Because you cannot fix somebody else. You can totally fix yourself. You can heal yourself in every possible way, but you can never heal somebody else. And perhaps you might be able to heal somebody else when you're in absolute frequency sync and you're both at the same level, Imagine something like, I don't like using that terminology because that's like so widely used out there, and people really don't understand some of these things, and they talk about it like it's like the new kid on the block, and people shouldn't be talking about these things if they don't know what they're talking about to begin with. But let's use that as an example. The twin flame soulmate thing, that everybody likes to throw it out there. Okay, so let's imagine for a moment that's a real thing, and I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm just saying that people were too like invested in these things these days to understand that, you shouldn't even be thinking about stuff like that when you're still working on yourself, you know um, because these things, they will come to you when you are ready for it to happen. This is exactly how it works. All right. So imagine that if in a scenario like that, where there are two people like that, then yes, I totally believe that they will be able to heal each other, heal some aspects of each other. Yes, that's possible. But what I'm talking about here right now is yourself, you, just you, okay? And all the things that you have done to yourself, that sometimes you're questioning yourself. Why am I doing this to myself? You see, if you loved yourself, you would never ask yourself that question. Because you would act upon it immediately. That's what real self-love is. So, like I was saying, a relationship that's not working because, it could be so many things. It could be a karmic thing. It could be a bajillion things. It doesn't matter what the thing is. What matters is your if you love yourself, you wouldn't be subjecting yourself to things like that. What is the deal with this addiction to getting validation from other people? You should never be doing that. If you know yourself, if you understand yourself, if you know what you want to be treated a certain way, right? So if someone is not treating you the way you expect to be treated, why are you allowing that? If you're in a job, let's say, that you don't like, and there are many people living like that today, I can tell you that. I've seen it. Okay? It's everywhere. Why are you doing that? You have choices. Don't you love yourself? I know this is gonna come out as kind of like a personal attack, but it's not. I'm just trying to make you understand that if you love yourself, you would never allow that type of thing to happen in your life. Because you know who you are, and you know what you deserve, and you know what you expect. And if you're not getting any of these things, then you most definitely don't love yourself. The truth hurts. That's very true. The truth hurts, guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just gotta be raw. You gotta be blunt. You gotta be real with yourself. And if this is gonna help anyone, then it means I did my job. Because that's all I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to make you see these little things that happen to us. It happened to us in our lives all the time. And you know, I know that there are some of us out there that we're always living our lives for others. You know, we get some sort of like self-satisfaction from people pleasing and all these things, but you have to understand that self-love is powerful. Self-love is all that is. Self-love is the most powerful thing that it can happen to a person, because it will change your life forever. You will never look at anything the same way you did before. So that was the number one key. Okay? The second thing, I think those examples were very straightforward and valid and easy to understand. I'm not here to make anything complicated for people to be able to digest it in their minds and their hearts. I'm using super simple life examples here that anyone can relate with. That's the secret of being a good teacher when you're trying to teach someone something. There's a lot of people out there using all kinds of like things and, you know, languages and things like that. You have to make it so it's easy and accessible by everyone and anyone at any time. I'm not a big fan of this AI crap that a lot of people are using too, but whatever floats your boat, you know? I think it feels a lot more relatable if you're seeing a real person talking about these things than somebody playing a cartoon on the background the whole time and just like, you know, recording the, what are you afraid of? Why don't you want to show your face? And if that triggered you, well, I don't care, you know? I'm sorry, but it's true. It's true. I like to watch people where I can, people that do this kind of thing, I like to see them. Because if I can see them, I will be able to feel them and really sense their true intentions behind what they're trying to do and what they're trying to convey. And you will be able to tell right away if you have what it takes to see these things and feel these things, right? And I know that if you're coming across this type of content, you're one of those people. I just think it's very interesting that the algorithm is pushing a lot of this AI stuff. Even the narrator of these things, it's like some pre-recorded voice that everybody's using the same thing. How lame is that? Like if you're gonna put out stuff to try to uplift other people, to try to make the world a better place, use your soul. Not this soulless crap that is made up by numbers and that is just a piece of software made by another person, another group of people. That just doesn't vibe with me. Sometimes I come across some of that stuff and I may listen and, you know, it's all right. It does something. I'm not going to deny that. But it's just not the same. But that's just me, okay? Don't take it personal. If that's what you want to do and that's what you like, go for it. If it's helping you in some way, go for it. But that kind of stuff is only going to take you so far when it comes down to what I am talking about here. So when you're past that point and you can't progress anymore, feel free to come back to things like this, because that's what you want. That's what's really going to help you out. So the second key, and this video is getting long, I'm going to try to make this quick now. You have to live your life for yourself first and always. Period. And I mean it. Okay? And no, this is not narcissism. This is something that if you understand what self-love is, if you understand and you really love yourself, then you also understand that you always have to be your number one priority. Everything starts with you. And then once that is done, everything else will come to you. Do you see how simple that is? Let me take a sip of my coffee here. I just had a meal and I like to have a coffee afterwards. Kind of helps me with my digestion and it's relaxing to me. I usually only have 2 cups of coffee a day. And I like it that way. I have one in the morning before I go to work, and then I have another one after I get home from work and have a meal. Caffeine is good, but you have to learn how to moderate anything like that, because I don't like it when I go to have a fasting and then if I don't have caffeine, my head is gonna be exploding. So when you kind of like limit the amount that you take, the effect of something like that, being deprived of something like that for a few days, is not going to be as bad as it is if you're chugging coffee all day. That's another thing to think about, you know? So, but anyway, to finish it off, the second thing, like I said, is live your life for yourself. And I mean that. Because by doing that, you're truly in tune with what it means to be a self-loving person. By doing that, you will understand that all you need in your life is you. And by living that way and acknowledging that fact, everything else that you want to materialize in your life for you, whatever goals you have, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever form of abundance you want to flow it into your life, whatever affirmations you have, whatever manifestations you want to make it happen, including another person if that's what you desire, that will all come naturally, because the universe knows what you need, the universe knows what you want, and the universe will respond to how you respond as to how you treat yourself. Do you see how easy that is? It's not that hard, guys. It's really not that hard. Once you understand that, Do those two things and just live with the flow of life and trust this process by doing these two things and just let it flow. Let it flow, trust it, do these two things. You are golden. You don't need anything else. That's all you need. That's all you need. And I hope I got the point across, because that's all I wanted to do. All right? So, this is where I'm going to end here. Learn what self-love means, understand that on a deep level, and then never forget not only to love yourself first, but to live your life for yourself. And then this golden magic shower is gonna follow you everywhere you go in your life. That is all you have to do. This is the longest video I ever made. Didn't mean it for it to be that long, but I hope it helped anyone to understand how really simple and easy this entire process is. That is real.